And here we'll be looking at insecurity. Of course, the NSCDC, as usual, deploys its personnel to ensure that as people travel for the Yuletide to celebrate with their families, the environment to an extent becomes quiet, but there are things to be protected. Critical installation of the federal government or public use, and those are supposed to be protected from vandals and criminals. And that we saw that the Corps, to an extent, deployed about 3,400 personnel. They mounted critical areas, and to an extent, there were few activities of vandalism. Of course, some arrests were made, but how does it look like in this particular year, where we have very few people who were caught with very few crimes recorded? What is different from what we have been seeing in the previous years? And to do this, I have with me the Deputy Commandant of the NSCDC here in the FCT, Pama Hussein. Very good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So quickly, tell us your deployment for the Yuletide and the areas they mounted.
All right. Thank you so much. Good morning, viewers. We deployed, just as you said, between 3,000 to 4,000 personnel were deployed. Precisely say 3,400.
Yes.
But of course, there are some adjustments here and there.
Okay.
But the deployment specifically is for the Yuletide period. Notwithstanding, we still maintain our normal routine for provision of security as usual. The deployment basically had to we looked at the entry points and the exit points of the FCT. And as you know, the Federal Capital Territory is bounded by many states. And because of that, definitely criminal activities infiltrate into the FCT from the neighboring states. As you know, we have the neighboring states that are having situations that are restive also. But within the Federal Capital Territory, strategically, Zuba axis, you know, is an entry point from Kaduna and Niger.
Kaduna and Niger, exactly.
Yes. Then Giri axis, Bagwalada, is also an entry point. I mean, from Abaji down to this, an entry point from Kogi.
Yes.
Then Nyanya, Mararaba axis,
Benue, Jos, those axes.
Yes. And of course, Buari axis equally. You can come through Kaduna into FCT through Buari axis. All these areas are taken into consideration during the deployment exercise. Now we deploy our men strategically around areas also of critical interest, around critical infrastructure installations, power stations, energy stations, as well as the NNPC facilities, as well as the social activities facilities like all amusement parks. You have the stadium, you have places where like Jabi Lake and other areas.
Then what about the street lights? So many of them.
Basically, you know, infrastructure in itself is all those systems, services and assets that the life of the society depends upon and the economy. So of course, all these places that we are talking about that people will go, they would like to enjoy all these services. And if these services are not protected, there will be a breakdown and they will not enjoy these services. Therefore, the street lights, apart from the street lights, we look at also the water supply systems. We looked at that one, then the telecom system as well, because just here now, if your phone, you cannot access data and the rest because maybe the service provider facility has been affected, the telecom, you know, is a problem. So all these infrastructures are also considered as vital, and our men are deployed around these infrastructures to protect them from vandalism.
Okay, but we know there are some pockets of, vandalism, and some people were arrested. Just give us, a bit about it.
Yes, just as we said, these assets and systems are vulnerable to activities of criminals. And not only criminals, also activities of terrorism. Terrorists also attack infrastructures. Now, it didn't stop at that, but as well, natural disaster also affect critical infrastructure. Now, because of this, we take a look at all these ones and make sure we are kinetic as well as preventive, so that as kinetic, if there is any attack, we will be reactive and respond. Yes, preventive, we have to be proactive by gathering information about the activities of these people we have mentioned. So because of that, the criminals are also doing their own way to ensure that they were not being nabbed, because they know that the securities are out there. But notwithstanding, we are able to apprehend them, some in the real act, some also about to, in an attempt to attack these infrastructures. Therefore, yes, we've arrested some vandals of streetlight poles, streetlight armor cables. I've arrested vandals of manhole covers, as well as individuals that are loitering around our water supply system. So we have them in custody, and also they are also undergoing investigation. So as soon as investigation is over, yes, they will face
the long arm of the law.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that those that are loitering were also arrested. Would that not be tantamount to arresting innocent Nigerians?
Yes, of course, arrest can be made, but after arrest, there is going to be a triage to be able to screen, and then along the line of interrogation and investigation. Of course, if you are innocent, you'll be let go, because some might be having criminal intention, and you will not know. And if you did not question that, you just let them go, that they are loitering, they have not taken anything around. What? Because some of the time they will be there will be an odd time that people are not supposed to be at that place. Why is that place in that place? Why is that person at that place at that time? So you have to, you have to invite him, and sometimes question why he's there.
Okay, but it's really interesting when you get some of these bits from a personnel like you. But when we look at the aspect of information, do you also rely on the public for information? Because, you can't do it alone.
You are right. We rely on the public. We rely on our personnel. We rely also on technology to be able to source information, analyze them, and also establish data, and then make use of them while also keeping our records.
Okay, so on technology now, where are we in, with the civil defense on critical installations, such that, the fatigue of your personnel can be reduced? Mount it in those areas and then sit at a particular place, a very cozy environment in your office to monitor what happens there. Where are we in terms of technology?
Let me give credit to the amiable CG, Dr. Amadou Audi, OFR, MRI, through the Commandant FCT, Dr. Shola Odumosu. I want to also commend the effort of the Minister for also giving us mobility. Yes. The Corps had provided us a lot of equipment in order to employ, as well as also our welfare well taken care of.
Very well.
Taken
No
care
issue.
of. We are not complaining. The Corps is trying her best to ensure that the personnel work, and remember, you must endure under whatever circumstance you find yourself and make use of what you have to ensure that you achieve results. Now, if you look at the way our system is, we depend on manual approach to almost everything in the society. But as it is, CCTV in terms of technology has been assisting us in protecting the critical national asset and infrastructure. We are heavily dependent on that. Where they are, we've been using them and we've been getting results. Not only that, also the leadership of the Corps has been pushing forward to ensure that in the near future we should have available drones and other technological devices that will aid us in the protection of these facilities that we are talking about.
So as we speak now, do we have drones? How many do we have?
We don't have them in use now, but training is going on for the drones. And as soon as the training is over and those drones also are available for use, definitely you will see us utilizing those equipments.
Those equipments, okay, that would be good. But on the other side of, well, you mentioned that all is well with civil defense. Welfare is perfectly taken care of, and there is no need for anyone to talk about the need for government to increase the welfare or wages or salary of civil defense, because the deputy commandant, Palmer Hussein, is already saying that they are satisfied and they are not complaining. Yeah, but can we look at...
You said, let me put it right.
Yes.
I said we are not complaining. Why we are not complaining? Understand this. I am here with you today.
Yes.
You will not be surprised if tomorrow now the price of commodities have increased. And then what are you going to do? Will you say that what you have yesterday, that you were contented yesterday, you will be contented tomorrow? The society is dynamic. But why I say I'm not complaining, we should be able to endure and make use. We should not allow hardship, the economic hardship, to dampen our morale, to bring us down. Yes, that's what I'm referring to. Okay. So when you say perfect, it's relative.
True.
It's relative.
True.
Perfect is relative.
True.
So understand it that way, please. Because, and then when you work, I think it is also good for you to be appreciated.
True.
So therefore, we will be like, what do I call it? Oliver Twist. What you have given us, yes, it's there. We are using it, but we need more.
We need more.
Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. I think that is better explained. It's not as if the welfare is top-notch, but as it is, they are what we call uniform men. You don't complain. You obey before you complain, and that is if at all you'll be given a room to complain. If the room will be there. But the thing is that, like you said, Oliver Twist, continue to ask. If you pour more water into the ocean will continue to consume,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, now it is on the area of your operations, resources for operations. Most time when you are called for a distress situation, it is nearly impossible for you to respond to such a call. Why?
Yes, that was why I mentioned the FCT minister in his own effort to address mobility issue. Recently, vehicles were allocated to us and released to us. It was like this, as you put it before, but recently our response has been swift enough. Yes, the problem of terrain is also another thing, because if we are talking about the power grid, and then information comes from, let's say, Transmission Company of Nigeria or AEDC, and we are to respond, within a short time to be able to ensure that the issue has been addressed, and the terrain is not a kind of a place that you can just drive there. And not only that, also, you wouldn't know whether that power grid was attacked by individuals. You have to prepare, and you have to also plan. So between this time and the response time, definitely it will take you a little bit of time. And then ours, what do I call the society, their one is what's happening. It has taken so this, and sometimes the terrain not only being difficult, but the suspicious individual that might have attacked the system may be prepared also to lay ambush to you. Okay. So you have to prepare, you have to plan. So between this time, yes, impatience might come in from the end users, but patience has to be practiced. Yes. Sometimes.
Okay, but why don't we have offices in those terrain? Why don't you have posts in those terrain?
Thank you so much.
Like your sister's, agency.
We have spoken about resources. We are not doing all this one alone. We are doing it in collaboration with sister agencies. Even if we have or we don't have, we can as well access some of the available facilities that other agencies have, because we are working in collaboration. But even as it is, no agency has perfect system that you can utilize to be able to respond to all these security issues that we are talking about. But at a greater height, yes, we are working in collaboration, so therefore we access
what is the level of synergy between civil defense and other sister agencies?
I want to say that the synergy is very, very vibrant and is working. Even as it is now, some of the trainings that we undergo training together. Did you watch our simulation during the preparation for the Yuletide? You would have seen the entire security agencies carrying out a simulation for counterterrorism at a particular location to forestall and also prepare for any eventuality that might happen.
Okay. Our time is flying fast.
Indeed.
In what areas would you want the public to, be of help to the Corps?
I want the public to be always conscious of security situations around them in their own environment, and also to ensure that anything that they see that is suspicious, they should be able to report it to the NSCDC or any other security agency formation within their own area. Not only that, also, the public can also play a vital role in information gathering and transmission for onward analysis and also use to ensure that we give the public the type of security they need so that they can go to their bed and sleep with their eyes closed.
Yeah, but the public is also scared to an extent of not providing information, and then later they become an item of investigation, or they are called for interrogation. So how do you balance these two?
Yes, we have a system of information gathering whereby an anonymous person can drop his information and not necessarily establish his own identity or this, because what information is all about is for you to make use. And if it is an information that is relevant, you as a professional knows how to analyze that information and get to the level that you want without even establishing the identity of the person that brought the information. Because if you say that you are going to establish the identity of your source, you are not helping the source, especially these days that the insecurity in our own system is something else. So we don't blow the cover of even our own personnel, talk less of the individuals from the public that come to give us information. We don't do that. We try our utmost in our own utmost best to ensure that informants are highly protected.
Okay, so before we go, you know, it's New Year's Eve. Today is going to be very busy. People may not, you know, sleep early. The city will be agog with people celebrating, you know, crossing over to next year, which usually is just a minute. 11:59, you are in 2024. Then 12, you are in 2025. And then you see the jubilation.
Yes.
What is on ground to ensure that people do this celebration without breakdown of law and order?
You have seen the deployment around the Federal Capital Territory in all the entry and exit point and within the within the city center. And also, we made our deployment in such a way that we have a kind of an imaginary cordon. We deployed our own personnel within an imaginary cordon. And these cordons are 3 stages, whereby you have the internal and relating with the external cordon. And you have the external also relating with the internal cordon. And there's an information flow. And we are also gathering all this information and transmitting it to a room that is just like a control room of ours in the FCT. And we are not only utilizing information, these informations alone, we are also sharing the information with relevant agencies. And we know some people left their houses locked behind, and they are expected to come and see it intact as they left it. Yes. And we know also some people are on the road, so there could be road mishap. So also we deploy personnel to ensure, because you know we do rescue and disaster response. Our ambulances are there, and by His grace, with these ones in place, all our FCT residents that had traveled will come back and meet their properties and their facilities intact and meet the city functional as it should be. And those that are here also, they should be rest assured the level of crime has tremendously reduced to its own barest minimum. And of course, we are doing this in collaboration with sister agencies, and it's working.
I must thank you so much for coming on the show, Deputy Commandant, NSCDC, FCT Command, for your time with us on the program this morning. I'm sure that FCT residents can now sleep with both eyes closed, knowing fully well that you know, personnel of the Corps are very much on the ground to watch over them, even when they are sleeping. Thank you for the reassurance.
I want to thank our viewers also, and thank you also.
You're welcome.